Okay, our new project is this lovely reference of English cottages in the countryside. So mostly greens around and the cottages. We have some stones and some water and reflection, really nice. We're going to start with the background. So we're going to start with the sky. So to do the sky, we're going to use two colors. Either there's a choice of white and cerulean blue, or white and Payne's gray. So this is really light. There's hardly any blue in there, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be done exactly the same. If you like to see some blue in there, go ahead, use cerulean blue with white. Or if you like it to be on the grayish side, we can keep it with using Payne's gray and white. So I'm going to start with putting sky color all over before I put the trees, except for this corner because there's so much green in here. So using a 1/2 inch, I'm working on 8 by 10 inches canvas board, and I'm going, and it's primed in burnt umber, and it's a thick burnt umber because I just want some depth in there. I like to work on dark. So I have a 1/2 inch brush. You could go with wider. This is a little bit wider than 1/2 inch right there. Any brush that is wide enough. We're not going to see a lot of the sky, so it doesn't matter. I could, switch to this a little bit wider, stay with the 1/2 inch, or stay with 1/2 inch. Anyway, right, now let's start. So I traced some of the houses or the cottage lines, and we're going to simplify what we're seeing. We're not going to do exactly the same. So now I'm just blending. I have here Payne's gray, and the Payne's gray I'm using is golden, so it has a bit of blue in it and white. So I'm just dipping my brush in water and just mix it, mix the color, and come here. It's a good color. I'm not concerned about the tree trunk or anything right now, just the sky. And this sky might need another layer, one more layer. For sure, it will need one more layer. Okay, now let's take colors down. This is where the two trees are. This is one way of doing painting this background. There's another way. It's putting lots of green in here, orange in here, and then open up the sky in between. So negative painting, it's a little bit more harder to do. Now, see where this chimney is? Right there. I'm going to go just behind it, and at this point, instead of going, I've been going in different directions and mostly horizontal. I'm sorry, vertical. So now when I get to this tree in the corner, I'm not going to put blue and white in there. I'm going to go across this way and create really fluffy kind of edge, because I don't want to have a heavy edge here where the tree is. And just leave it at that. So for now, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it dry. Let this background dry. And I'll come back to it and put another layer, one more layer. We're not going to put too many layers of sky because there's lots of trees in there. But with the same Payne's gray and white, I'm just going to put sap green in here and mix sap green with Payne's gray and do this tree in there, in here. That give me a really dark color, actually. Yeah, first layer. That would be fine. And then I'll stop. I'll pause so we can work on that. Work on the second layer. So this is sap green now. And I have Payne's gray. I know it's very dark, but that's okay. In the reference, you will see more browns, earth tones with these trees. But for the first layer, I need depth. So I'm just using sap green and Payne's gray for the darks. Same brush. And you can see how dark this green is. Now, when I get to this point, I'm just putting darks, right? So it's not, there's no detail, nothing, no branches coming out, nothing right now. I'm just going to go the opposite way. This way, I will have a fluffy edge where the tree meets the sky. So with the sky, I went the other way around, and with the tree, I'm going the opposite way. This is from right to left, and for the sky, I went from left to right. And again, just a bit here, right there. And then we will be putting the tree, the two evergreens behind that. But not now. We'll just fix the sky and then we'll do that. This is good. I'm just going to pause. Okay. So now I'm going to do one more layer of the sky, and then I'll switch to the trees. For the trees, don't put any color right now. Let's do the sky first, and then I'll add. We'll start putting, painting the trees in the background. So for now, let's keep the same colors we were using. One more layer for the sky. I'm using Payne's gray and white, and you can use any color you like. Payne's cerulean blue and white, Payne's gray and white, any color. Cobalt blue and white. Just one more layer. And you can see this is now better. It covers the sky part. Now there's green coming. So again, just going to keep the upper part of the sky clean, lower part not important because of the trees. Good. All right. And pause. Right. For this layer or this stage, I'm going to add some of the trees in the back. So for the trees in the back, I'm going to be using sap green, raw umber, and yellow ochre or yellow oxide, whatever you have. If you don't have raw umber, use burnt umber. It's once it's mixed with green, there's not a big difference. So now it's just a matter of getting the right brush, and I'm going to use a flat or bright and smaller than the 1/2 inch. This is what I was using before for the sky. I'm going to go smaller now, and I'm going to have a round one ready as well. I would say any round tree, just for the trees that are evergreens in here and some of the edge of the other trees. So now we're just working with sap green, raw umber, some yellow ochre in there. I still want to use darks. I'm not highlighting, I'm just using darks right now. So this is a good kind of brownish green, and raw umber is great for that. See, now for the evergreen in the back, I need this green, but before we do this, let's go slowly. Let's continue the green here. So we have dark green here in this area, and you see, if you look at this, at the reference, and you look at the rooftop between these two chimneys, the one in the center and the one on the left, you'll see there's quite a bit of green at the bottom, not a lot of sky showing. And over here as well. And it doesn't matter really if you cover the sky or if you show the sky, because we are going to go back and open up the sky in between in the trees. So now let's get those trees, evergreens, going. So these trees, the first one is closer to the middle chimney. It's right here, the first one. So this is how I gauge where this tree is. And all I'm going to do for now is just kind of put a long tree trunk. And with the corner of my brush, I'm going to try with the corner of the brush to create the shape. That's why I have round one ready, just in case it doesn't work. So it's really narrow at the top, and then it becomes wider. Just dab with the corner of the brush and keep an eye on the shape you're doing. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. Oops. Jeez. It's all right. But it needs to come out slowly. So take your time. I mean, even if I'm covering too much of the sky, it doesn't matter, because I can open it up. I just need the shape right now. There's a second one right next to it, another tree trunk, lower. So let's take it from here. Just put it here, right there. And again, just kind of lower than this one. And I'm just trying to see in the reference where it ends. It ends kind of at the beginning of this chimney, right there. It's a little bit heavy at the top, but that's okay. Let's dab some green in here. There's a connection between the big tree and the smaller ones. The big tree on the left, on the right, sorry, and those evergreens on the side. Now, I need this to dry so I can go back with the color of the sky and open up the tree a bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the same color I'm using and I'm going to extend the green a bit behind the house. Jeez. It's okay. It's all right because there's going to be, this is a bit too much, but that's okay. It's going to be, I'm going to be putting some orange in there. I'm adding a little bit more of yellow ochre here, and I'm going to go down just take a tiny bit of that Payne's gray and create a deep color here. And you'll see in a minute why I'm doing this. I'm just trying to place the trees to see where I want the green to be. This is lower. The ones in front of the house are not necessary right now because we need to work on the house first. So at this point, with the same colors I have, I'm going to add a tiny bit of cadmium yellow light and use the same colors. So I'm using sap green, raw umber, a little bit of the yellow ochre, and then I'm going to take this beautiful cadmium yellow light or any color light, any light yellow. And at this point, I'm just going to come here. Let's take a bit of yellow ochre and add some yellow ochre in here. Nice. Shaping the trees in the front using the negative painting, using the background. All right, good. Look at this. Perfect. I think this tree up here is already dry, the green. I'm going to take the color of the sky and I'm going to come in and just kind of open it up a bit. I think it's just a little bit too heavy. Using the sky color, and all I'm doing is I have a round brush. I am dabbing the color of the sky again. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exact. I just need to have a little bit of opening in here. Not much. It's mostly up. Once you get to the bottom, the tree becomes heavier. That's good. That's it. Now, with the same brush, actually my brush was not that great, but that's okay. I am going to start highlighting this tree, giving it some shape. So, same colors. So I'm going to take sap, green. Shall I stop a bit so you can do this? Yeah, I will pause a bit. Okay, now let's work on this tree. Let's start highlighting it and giving it some shape. So I have here sap green. I'm going to take the same colors, sap green, raw umber, and some yellow ochre, and a little bit more so we can see it because it's going to dry darker. So I'm not using any yellow, not yet. I'm going to see if I can get away with it without yellow, like yellow. So I'm just using yellow ochre, and I'm putting quite a bit of yellow ochre in here. This is a combination of sap green and raw umber and yellow ochre. So with the corner of my brush, just a small flat or bright, with the corner of my brush, I'm going to just kind of look at the reference and just kind of give it some, see now because I'm highlighting, I have to be careful because highlights, you can easily make the tree look flat. You know, you can lose your depth and the darks easily. So I see here that I'm putting too much. So I'm going to take some of this color. And then with the corner of my brush again, kind of try to fluff some of these. This is going to dry darker. Let's see, actually, let's take some brown in here and put it in. Oh, that's a good color. That's awesome. All right, that's better. So I'm just kind of, I realized that the color I was using before was a bit too light. So I added a little bit of raw umber in that mixture. And if I find that by the time I'm done, if I find that my colors are, I lost the depth, that's okay, I'll put it back. I'll just mix the same mixture I used before and I'll add it in. Just kind of a hint. All right, so we want a hint of that, of what's happening in there. vary the direction of your brush. Don't go in the same direction the whole time. So now I can see that this is kind of drying a little bit too light. I lost some of the darks in there. I'm going to take Payne's Gray sitting right there, mix it with sap green, just a tiny bit of Payne's Gray, not much, and reshape this. Whatever I have too much highlight and I lose darks, I'm just going to put them back. You're going to let it dry. Now I'm going to go back again to the same mixture of sap green, yellow ochre, and raw umber. Corner of my brush. All right. This is part 2. This is mid-tone. Now, let's get to the end. I can see that some of the tree is, the branches are coming out. So with this brush, all I'm doing is, instead of using the corner of what I was doing here, I'm just using the brush and I'm dabbing in different directions. Keep an eye on what you're doing so you don't overdo it, or you don't end up with a circle that is perfect. Now, branches are usually lighter right here, or foliage is lighter on the tree where it meets the sky, because of the sky color as well, and because these are kind of younger leaves in there, so you don't have that heaviness that you see here. Now this is dry and it needs a third layer. My third layer is going to be more of the yellow ochre and a little bit more sap green and less. See, now I'm not using any of the fresh color of the raw umber, so it's just sap green, yellow ochre. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to highlight, because, you know, so we have the first layer, which is the darks, second layer, which is mid-tone, and now I'm highlighting. So the more highlights I put, the less brush strokes. Because I want to keep seeing the darks, medium, and lights. So if I put too much highlight, I'm going to cover some. Then it will cover some of the medium and the darks. So this is perfect. This is all I need. Just kind of couple of these brush strokes. And, you know, I'm keeping an eye of shape. See, look, there's a line here now. There. I should then kind of cancel it. Try not to. So when you work slowly, you can see these things, but if you go fast, you're not going to see them. You will see them after, and it's fine. You can fix them. It's not a big deal. Perfect. All right, let's take same and then add some here. The bottom part. I'm not concerned about the upper part because I don't want more paint at the upper part. just the bottom part. Now, since I'm doing this, I'm going to do the same with this little bush right here. And, you know, just kind of same idea. But not these. I'm going to change the color here. Use different greens. Honestly, don't do too much. I love the darks in there. There. In between there will be orange. If you're wondering why I left it, I just really, honestly, I did not know that this is going to be, I could have, you know, extended the blue down, but it really doesn't matter because it's going to be orange in here. Okay, now one more. I'm going to do one more thing and then I'll stop. You see right now, this is heavy and it goes like a kind of on the same line right there. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to do the same thing I used before. I'm going to take the color of the sky. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Round brush, small round brush. And come here and push some of these in. It will change shape. Same for the top of the tree here. I'm going to bring in some blue in there. It's very important that you use a small brush, round brush. Otherwise it will be heavy. It will be like a blob. It's all of that negative painting in here. This goes in a fan shape. So I'll explain what I mean in there, like what it means, fan shape. Okay, again, I want to make sure that I don't go into a line in here. It has to be organic. It has to look like a tree, like it's not. All right. Okay. All right. Let's do that. This is no. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to do the open up the tree right here. So instead of using the same brush stroke, which is I'm going this way in here, I'm going to be going this way. It's like a fan because the branches are going up this way. They fan out. All of the branches from the trunks, the tree trunk, they fan out. And when they fan out, what we're painting is the in-between. We're shaping the, we're painting the sky in between the branches. So we have to go with the shape. If you don't go with the shape and you go in a random kind of shape of opening the sky color, then you will not get the right feel or look. Again, a little bit here. All right. Most of painting, when you paint, is understanding what you're painting. So if you know exactly what you're painting, then it's easy, and you get really what you are looking for, the shape you're looking for. There. All right. Let's see if there's anything in here that we need to fix. Okay. All right. Let's clean this up a bit. And again, I'm not worried about getting the same color, sky color, because there's a lot of orange coming on this side, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Done. So just before I pause, I'm just gonna repeat a bit what I did. So I used the first layer for the tree. I used a very dark color. It's sap green and Payne's gray. I made sure that this corner here, I go with my brush out for the tree, and this way for the sky in. So I get this beautiful fluff in there. Now, second layer, I mixed sap green, raw umber, yellow ochre, and I put a mid-tone, not too dark, mid-tone. Third layer, which is a highlight, I mixed sap green, raw umber, more of the yellow ochre. That gave me a little bit more highlights. Kind of, you can't see it too much, but you can see a little bit of that. Some of them are lighter than the others. Making sure that I still can see the dark, the medium tone, and the highlight. Now, after that, I used the color of the sky with a round brush, small, good round brush. Doesn't have to be expensive, just good one. And I opened up the sky using, I opened up the tree using the sky color, making sure that when I'm doing this, I am avoiding anything that looks straight, one line, round, shape, kind of keep it organic. That's it. All right, now for the orange tree. First layer, I'm using for the orange tree, burnt sienna and orange, cadmium orange. Now, if you don't have cadmium orange, just mix it using cadmium yellow light and cadmium red light, and you'll get a beautiful orange. Or even medium, cadmium yellow medium and cadmium yellow and cadmium red medium. That will be fine. So the reason I'm adding burnt sienna is just because I want this orange to look earthy. Now, even with that, for the first layer, because I need a layer where I could highlight over it, if I put a layer right away that is highlighted light orange, then I don't have room for highlights. So for the first layer, and you'll see in a minute, this is cadmium orange and burnt sienna. Now, you can easily just keep it just the way it is. It's good. It's earthy. It's a beautiful color. I really don't have to go darker than this. But if I want to go darker, I could put raw umber in it, just a bit of raw umber, and that will make it more earthy, more brown. So let's see. Let's put this. Let's come here, and as soon as I put the color, I can tell if I need raw umber. Maybe. Now you're wondering how come I'm putting the everything without the trunk, putting the tree trunk first, right? Right, okay. So, so my way of putting trees or drawing trees or painting trees, painting trees is to actually put the mass, the shape of what I'm seeing, shape. Because if I said, and now I know that the tree trunk is somewhere right here, right there. It does have to be accurate. And that's the major one. That's the tree trunk, the major part. What I like to do is put the mass colors everywhere and then put the tree trunk in between and then add the branches after. Because personally, I find when I put the tree trunk and the branches, I follow the branches with the, dabbing for the leaves. And sometimes it doesn't look natural. So for me, because I see everything in shapes. I don't see them in tree and branches, and I see shapes. It's easier for me to put the shapes first. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I can always go in and change colors, put more sky, you'll see in a minute. You'll see how it goes. I'm going to take a little bit of the raw umber and I'm going to add it here because I can see the left part of the tree is darker, which is very nice. I mean, I'm not trying to follow exactly, but these little kind of difference in color is interesting and it's nice because it looks like the light is coming from the right to the left. So if I darken this part and I highlight this part, the tree looks more natural. Now, again, I'm not trying to leave some blues or all I'm trying to do is try to, I'm going to dab a bit here. In here, I'm going to dab. I'm going to start dabbing. I don't want too much. And again, even if I go too much, I can open it up with the color, sky color. I can see that this part is a little bit lighter right here. Most of the time, what I try to keep an eye on is the edge of the tree or the leaves. The edge has to be really fluff. Because everything else I can fix, and I can fix that one too if the edge is not fluffy enough, but it's easier. This is dry brush. And you'll see once I start putting the tree trunks and the tree branches, you're not going to see most of this, what you're seeing right now. The brush strokes. Let's go, oops, all right. Darker, left side darker. Heavier. I did simplify the background, removed a lot of things there that, you know, there's like, I think another cottage or something. I can't tell what's in there. So I simplified. It actually overlaps with the evergreen in here, with the trees on the right, this orange. So quite a bit of orange in here. All right. Okay, now I have a certain shape for the tree. It's not 100% yet. Now I can put the tree trunk and the branches, and then I go back and I add the highlights on top of that. Okay, so this is just raw umber. I have it here. Let's put a bit of white so it's not too dark with this raw umber. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Okay. Now it's the tree trunk comes, the big one comes from here, kind of, maybe closer to the chimney, but it's okay, too late. All right, now I'm going to go up. And it becomes narrower. The higher you go, the narrower the tree trunk is. Some parts are narrower, or some parts are, you can see the whole thing, and some parts are covered by the green. So now I'm going to take same raw umber, maybe I have some green in here, whatever I have colors in there, that's fine. I'm making it watery, a bit watery, and then I'm gonna round brush, and I'm gonna start adding some, actually, you know what, I'm gonna add a tiny bit of white in here. Yeah, that's better. Now I'm looking at the big ones. Again, wider when the branch comes out from the tree, wider, and then becomes narrower. All right. This way, I am actually just following the shape of the tree, and I'm not concerned about the actual leaves. So what I do sometimes is I just kind of put more of the color, and I leave some where the trees are, or I'm sorry, where the leaves are. So this way it looks like it's behind heavy trees, like heavy leaves. Okay. Now this is the big ones and big branches, and we have some from here. I'm gonna darken some of these, part of the branch, especially the one that's closer to the tree itself, to the tree trunk. And then I'm gonna take some coming out from here. Wow, it's a lot. Okay, all right, let's do that.
Well, I'm going to get going. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing is just putting the branch now, some of the branches, and oops, this is too wide. That's okay, I'll fix it with the orange. All right. So now I'm gonna put lots of kind of random little ones. Doesn't matter. I'm not really going with what the reference is at this point. I was looking at the reference mostly with the big branches. Now with the small ones, I'm not concerned. Like, I'm not even looking there. I'm just gonna put random little twigs and so I'm gonna go like this, stop, change direction. Okay, here, sorry. I don't want my hand in the way. Okay, like this. Stop. Change direction. The, um, the leaves on the left-hand side of the tree are heavier. So you don't see a lot of the branches. You see more of on this side, on the right-hand side. And to get that line straight or thin line with my brush, my color or my paint is not heavy. It has a bit of more water in it. It's watered down, and I use the tip of that round, so very kind of gentle, not too much pressure on the brush. Okay, so it looks fine to me. What I'm going to do is, I really don't have to do exactly what's in there. So what I'm going to do right now is take my burnt sienna, cadmium orange, and I'm going to start highlighting with the corner of my brush, actually a little bit more. Let me take a tiny bit of the yellow ochre as well. That's good. That's a good color. And I'm going to start highlighting in here, going over some of the colors I put in there. I'm using the corner of my brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of orange at this point, add it to the same color mixture, and I'm going to come here. This has a little bit more yellow ochre, and here I have more orange in the same color, same mixture. I'm not going to put too much highlights in here. I'm going to put a couple, just a couple, because I need the darks in between and in the back. I don't want to lose the dark because that creates depth. It makes the tree look like it's big, and some of it is in the back and some of the tree is in the front. So the one in the back, because it's rounded, the one in the back is darker and the one in the front is lighter. Let's take a bit of that yellow ochre and add a bit of yellow ochre with my color in here so it doesn't look like just orange. White, little bit of white. I'm toning down the color. When I put white with cadmium orange, I'm going to tone down the color a bit with yellow ochre, make it more earthy. Now, third layer of highlights. The third layer is yellow ochre, orange, mixed with burnt sienna, white, and that's the third layer. So I had darks, mid-tone, and now I'm highlighting. Okay, don't want to highlight too much on the left side. Again, I'm going to take white, color of the sky, and I'm going to do some negative painting. I want to keep this dry brush effect that I have, but at the same time, I want to show the sky in between. The dry brush will give me the effect of the very, very thin, fluffy leaves in there. But because I'm doing, using white brush and I'm not creating, when I was doing that, I was just kind of just using my brush like this. It doesn't look like leaves. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the color of the sky and I'm just dabbing over that dry brush. And that will give me a great sky color or fluffy leaves. I can put as many as I want, but at the same time, I have to be careful not to overdo it. It's very easy to get carried away doing this. Doing painting, negative painting, especially with trees. Okay. I don't have to overdo it. And it actually doesn't have to look like the one in the front, you know, I'm sorry, the one in the reference. This is now orange with burnt umber. I'm sorry, not burnt umber, burnt sienna. And where I opened up with the sky, I'm going to put a couple of brush strokes with the round brush, round small brush, more kind of controlled. Same. Just going to highlight a bit. Because I'm using a round brush, I can do that. And because I'm waiting for the paint to dry, because it goes darker, it dries darker with acrylics. So now I know with the round brush, small one, I'm just going to add a couple of stronger highlights in the front. It just kind of makes the tree look more 3D. You can put highlights as many brush strokes as you like, but I think that's enough. All right, I'm gonna just fix the shape a bit here. That's better. Okay, that's it. That's enough for today. All right, so next week we'll continue working on the background, and probably we'll start the houses for sure. For sure, we'll start the cottage, and maybe put some greens in the front.